What's a sign that somebody wasn't raised right? Lack of personal accountability. They can never admit wrongdoing on their part. It's always someone else's fault. Came here to say this. Few people really understand, I think, the importance of an apology, and the right way to apologize. Recent story. I called my doctors and left a request to have a prescription refilled on their voicemail they have, for just that purpose. 3 days later I call the pharmacy to see if that prescription is available. They tell me they have not gotten it yet. I call the doctor's office and speak to the receptionist, who puts me through to the nurse. The nurse explains that she made a mistake and forwarded my request to the doctor that was not in the office that week. It was a dumb mistake and that she would get the PA to do it right away. I was so impressed that she owned her mistake. She did not have to. She could have explained simply that here had been a mix-up, but she did not. She took full responsibility. Now this was not a serious issue, but I was impressed anyway. You give them a lift and they leave rubbish in your car. I forgot my candies and trash in a carpool 6 years ago and I still remember it. The driver rushed us out because he made a mistake, to be fair, but my beep brain won't forget it. Who are the guys who spit out their chewing gum into urinals? I see this all the time at work, and I work in a high-end corporate place. Do they think it dissolves and goes down the pipe? The janitor has to pick it out. I had a guy beep on the floor in the bathroom at my work, then apologize because I was working the shift, not my coworker he hated. People are beep asterisk 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 weird dude. I worked at a truck stop with 3 bathrooms, a men's, a women's, and a unisex single one in the trucker lounge. The stall in the men's was out of service because people don't understand what a reasonable amount of toilet paper is. Guy comes in, truck bathroom is occupied. Goes to men's, stall out of service. Do you wait for the trucker room? B. Just go to the women's, which is also just a single room and isn't used much. C. Beep in the urinal, then come out and complain that I should lose my job because the stall is out of order. How they act as a boss when their employee messes up. Yelling and belittling shouldn't be your first option. This was what made me respect the absolute beep out of my manager. I made a mistake on a job a while back, like a big fuck-up that cost us a large sum of money. I was fully expecting to get chewed out, and if you beep, then you're out the door, because that's how previous managers had treated us. But no, he came over to the car I was working on, looked at what happened, figured out how the mistake was made, and we talked about it for a couple minutes. I was pretty upset about it because I'm usually not the type of tech who is negligent and makes mistakes, so when I do, it profoundly bothers me. He saw that. He listened to what I said, and he went through the process of getting replacement parts ordered for what I messed up. The next morning he came to me again and said, "You know, I was thinking about you last night after I got home and thinking of what you could do to prevent this mistake from happening again in the future." Gave me a few suggestions for the future, and closed the conversation with a pat on the shoulder and a "We won't need to have this conversation again, brother. I trust you." It was the most meaningful conversation I have ever had with a manager. I got the sense that he really wants to see his employees succeed and grow. It gave me confidence in a moment in which I had none left. This is how you be a leader, not a boss. The leader lends a helping hand and treats you like an equal. A boss treats you like a replaceable piece of meat, disrespecting people for doing their job. I worked at an office supply company while I was in college. Let's call it paper clips. I had a full-time position on top of going to school full-time, and I was going through a bit of a rough patch. During back to school in late September, this little girl comes in escorted by what I can only describe as an alpha Karen. The kid started pouting and saying she didn't want to go back to school. I was busy running my cycle count report when AK pointed at me and said something along the lines of, "If you don't go to school you'll end up working at paper clips like this guy." Oh, that made me mad. I don't remember exactly what I said in response, but it went essentially like, "Ma'am, I graduate in 3 months from and have a job lined up at. I hope she works here or at McDoodle's, so maybe she'll earn the respect you didn't teach her." The only time I've ever been written up for a customer interaction, and I don't regret it. Yes, manager, I have a complaint. This employee defended herself when I was being incredibly rude and I demand you fire her. What a asterisk 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 asterisk. They always portray themselves as a victim. Nothing is ever their fault and somebody is always out to get them. The ultimate entitled boob. And not the good kind of boob either. Let me share a story. Part of my job is to fingerprint people for background checks. I come to work, look at my appointments, and then do them. I had just finished a 10:30 APPT and was about to call my 10:40 when I was interrupted by this daughter and father combo. They said they had been waiting for 30 minutes and when would we get to them? I looked at my schedule. Strange. I had taken everyone in on time, so I figured they were just here super early. I asked them for their APPT paper or screen from their phone, and they go crazy. You make us wait and then you don't trust us? Listen, I just need to see it so that I can see what time is your APPT. No. You bring your boss out here right now. From prior experiences, I knew there was no reasoning with these type of customers, so I asked the receptionist to call for my boss while I bring in my 10:40. My boss is able to retrieve their ID and we call headquarters to find out when in God's name is their APPT. Turns out they didn't even have one for that day. Turns out they had a 10 a.m. APPT 3 months ago, in another city, in another state. I let them know about this and they go, no, we have one today. So I'm show them my schedule. Look, you're not on here. You don't have an APPT today. It's right there. Learn how to do your job. You wasted our time. Her name is right there. I look at her ID and it's a totally different name. The daughter, who at this point is crying and playing victim, trying to blame us along with the father, goes, that's my nickname on your schedule. I look at her blankly. So you're telling me you came to get fingerprinted through a government organization, and instead of using your real name, you used a nickname which bears zero resemblance to your legal name? She starts wailing, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. They started threatening to sue us, because we won't fingerprint them, because their daughter is missing work hours because we're keeping her here. My boss and I just look at each other and smile, realizing the idiots that we're dealing with. He tells them, we're not paying you guys anything. The dad starts making a scene again. I'm going to call her employer and tell them not to bring customers to your facility anymore. My boss is okay with that. Truth be told, doing fingerprinting was just a service to our county. They actually lose money every day paying me for the position because the fingerprint company paid so low anyway. Eventually we give them the boot, but I remember the girl wailing away, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And all I could do was glare at her with a look that said, it really is your fault. Parents who don't teach their children to take responsibility. I wouldn't take responsibility either if I knew my dad would go batshit at me every time I was in the wrong. One rule for me, one rule for you parents that mess up on the discipline, accountability stage of parenting. Produce these people. Rules for thee but not for me. Do as I say, not as I do. If they make messes in public areas and just wander off. Working in a theater, I can tell you a good number of people treat the place as their personal dumping ground. And that's apart from the people who make big messes and just skedaddle. I'm talking people who spill their XXL soda and just walk out. I've had the pleasure of walking into a theater and finding 3 separate pools of vomit. Like WTF people, honestly. They don't have manners or respect anyone. They never see what they do wrong. Ah, the old, I only give respect if it's earned, so I'm gonna be rude to the world, and if it's rude, that there the asterisk 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 asterisk. Gotta love those talks with people. And GT, ah, the old, I only give respect if it's earned, so I'm gonna be rude to the world. Those tough guy types who say that kind of line are usually woefully unprepared for the, well, what do you think you have done so far to earn my respect? Question. How they treat people from whom they have nothing to gain. Retail will tell you about 75% of people exhibit this sign. I worked in retail. It's more like 20% in my experience. But you remember those more on a bad day. The word no just means throw a fit and be as obnoxious as you can be until you get your way. No does not mean that rules or someone's job might be on the line. They're the important one, not anyone else. I'm an overnight manager in fast food. After midnight our menu changes slightly so that we don't do certain items in the loose change menu isn't in effect. All of this is in the ads for such items, mind you. But when I tell someone, sorry man, can't do that for that price at this time because the register automatically switches over at midnight, there's literally nothing I can do. People have a beep fit. I've had people break windows, pull out a metal bat from passenger seat and threaten me. People report me, spit at me, beep children, all of them. We also close the store and go drive through.